our very own Jyoti Maria ma'am. Ma'am is our headmistress from the pre-primary to grade 5. Ma'am is our school counselor and our special educator. Dear, thank you, ma'am, for leading us through. Dear parents, if you have any concerns or queries regarding your child, you can reach out to our school authority. The numbers are available and our school contact numbers are also available. Now, I would like to take the opportunity and request Maria ma'am to do the honors of introducing our staff members at Lead India Bharat Ratna School. Over to you, dear Maria ma'am.
Thank you, Beatrice. At the onset, I would like to thank all the parents for taking time to join and all the staff members who are here. And it's been about 1.5 months or so since we have interacted with each other, especially the parents. And there have been a lot of untoward incidents and very unpleasant things that have happened all over the world during the past 1.5 months or so. But here we are. We have so much to be thankful for the health of our families, for our own health. I know some of the families in our school have also lost dear ones. And on behalf of the school, I would like to convey our heartfelt condolences to those families. We hope with time, things will be able to move forward in a positive way, and hoping that the days to come will turn out to be a blessing to all of us. So on that note, I would like to present to you all the team of Lead India Bharat Ratna School from pre-primary to grade 5. I would like to first introduce to you all the pre-primary teachers. We have Ms. Jyotirmai. She is the class teacher for nursery and LKG. She's also the EVS teacher for grade 2. Jyotirmai is somebody who's very techno-savvy, and she is also a multitasker and a quick worker. And we have Pallavi Joshi. She is the class teacher of UKG, and she's also the EVS teacher for grade 1. And Pallavi is somebody who's very humble and very approachable, and children love her. And we have Ms. Sheila Reddy. She's the class teacher for grade 2, and she's also the English teacher for UKG grade 1 and grade 2. And Sheila is a very creative person, very bubbly, and she brings to life wherever she is, whichever class she is in. So welcome, dear teachers. I wish you all the best, the pre-primary teachers. Moving on, I would like to introduce teachers of grade 1 and 2. Ms. Laboni Banerjee. I think she is one person that children all love, and she forces children to speak in English because she can't speak in Telugu. So that gives opportunities for children not to move to any other language. And she's the maths teacher of, she's the class 1 teacher, and she's the maths teacher from grade 1 to grade 4. And of course, I've already introduced to you all Sheila, Pallavi, and Jyotirmai. They are also going to be handling grade 1 and grade 2 classes. Moving on to grade 3 to 5, we have Ms. Raki Pal. She is the class teacher for grade 3, and she's the science teacher for grade 3, 4, and 5. And Raki is a teacher that children love because she has a way of connecting with children, and she's very friendly and approachable to kids, and she has immense patience, that I can say for sure. And we have Ms. Lavanya. Lavanya has been with us throughout the last year, and she's one person that I can count on for anything. A very dependable person, and she knows the subject very well. She has a strong hold on her subject. Lavanya is the class teacher of grade 4. She teaches social studies for grade 3 and 4, and she is the English language teacher for grade 5 and 6. And we have Ms. Beatrice Geraldine. She joined us this year, and I'm so thankful that she has been able to join our team. And Beatrice comes with a lot of positive energy, and she has a great way of controlling and having a classroom management that's child-friendly. And we have a language teachers, Telugu and Hindi teachers. Ms. Saroja, she is also a wonderful teacher. She has a way of getting the work done by children. They say never trust a smiling teacher because they get a lot of work done from you. So she's one of those teachers who has a smile and who's always friendly with kids and gets the maximum work done from them. And we have Ms. Poonam Bharati. She's the Hindi teacher. And Poonam also is a wonderful person. And I've never seen her get angry or lose her control. I think she's great. She has great patience and she's wonderful with kids. We have Ms. Ambika Franklin, who joined us this year. She is the art and craft teacher for the entire school. She is a very creative person, and apart from what she does with school, she also engages herself in enriching her knowledge with regard to various art and crafts. We have Mr. Shailendra, who's been with us last year. He is the PE teacher. So this brings to the closure of all the teachers that are engaged with primary up to grade 5. I want to wish all the best to all our teachers. And I must say that this group of teachers that we have are handpicked, and they have all the skills that they need to handle children. So teachers, all the best to you all, and we'll move forward with the parent orientation. So if you all remember, dear parents, we did have a parent orientation in the month of March when we started the academic year. So there were a lot of important things that we shared with you all. There are certain changes that we have made to how the school is going to be organized and structured this year. And we were hoping that, you know, when things were almost settling down and then the pandemic grew in intensity, and that's the reason why we have to switch to online, because that's the safest mode at this point of time. And since we have done last year, I think all the teachers here are experienced in handling online classes, and we are looking for ways and means by which we can improve the delivery of academics this year. So I would like to first talk to you all a little about the academics, and I'll start with language arts. As you all know that any language is acquired in 4 basic steps, which in short form we call as LSRW, which is listening, speaking, reading, and writing. That is the way that any language is learned. Let it be mother tongue or let it be a foreign language. Okay, we learn, we listen to a language. You know, when a baby is born, the child listens to the language constantly. An adult is always talking to the child, so the child listens. Then the child starts speaking. And after the child starts speaking, he learns to read. Reading is not necessarily reading ABCs, but it is reading pictures, reading objects. Okay, and then we move to the last stage of learning a language, which is writing. Writing is the last stage. Now, when we talk about academic skills, the first thing I want to mention to you all is about the listening resources. Now, very carefully, we have picked up Macmillan publications because Macmillan comes with a digital content, which is not available just to the teachers or to the school, but it is available to all the parents. Every child who has a Macmillan textbook, be it English textbook, be it EVS textbook, the child, social studies for that matter, the child is given a login to enter into the digital content of the textbook. And when I say digital content, there is a lot of audio-visual aids that are there in it, audio-visual tools. There are some extra worksheets that are available. There are some games that are available on the digital media there. So I encourage all the parents to take time to go over the digital content with your child. We have about 1 week time. I think when you take the textbook, if you all need help with how to log in, we will send you all the information by next week, Monday. So please spend some time with your child so that the child will get interested with what is he learning. You know, any child for that matter needs much more than what is the print media offering. Print can be very boring to children, especially because they are so engaged with a lot of multimedia in terms of games and, you know, videos that they're watching. So they also need academic content which needs to be delivered in that mode. So this digital content that is available is perfect for children. So kindly spend some time helping children to browse through that. The next one I want to talk to you all about is pronunciation and phonetics. I insist a lot, and that is the training that, you know, we are giving to the teachers about how to use phonetics. Now, phonetics is nothing but the language of sounds. It is a study of sounds. Okay, if you know, every word is made up of sounds. Okay, so children need to get the right pronunciation. Sometimes, especially for pre-primary, I want to insist that we do not want parents to teach them phonetics, because sometimes you may not have that knowledge. We are sharing a lot of videos, which have the pronunciation of every letter sound, which is given there. So kindly play that. If you're confident of the phonetics of the letter sounds, you can go ahead and teach them. But sometimes what happens is parents teach them one way of pronouncing and teachers teach them another way of pronouncing. It can confuse children. Okay, so especially because they are learning those sounds for the very first time, it's important that they get the right foundation. Okay, so kindly be very careful about how you are teaching children to pronounce words. And we are also going to, we emphasize a lot on vocabulary. As you know, any language is made up of words, right? Words make sentences, sentences make paragraphs, and that's how we communicate. Now, vocabulary is important. Even in the assembly, you have noticed every single day we are introducing a vocabulary, right? So this year also we will continue with that, but we will be doing something more structured at the class level, wherein every week, Monday, children will be introduced 10 words, and they will have time and over again, they will be revising those 10 words, which means how do you pronounce it, how do you spell it, and what is the meaning of that word. And by the end of that week, children will be given dictation to check whether they have mastered those 10 words. So 10 words a week. In 1 month, they learn 40 words. So multiply that by 10 months. Okay. So there is a lot, close to around 400 words children will be able to add to their vocabulary. Okay. And we will be conducting Spell Bee, which is, emphasizing children's spelling. And why is it important for children to learn spellings? Why is Spell Bee important? See, even nowadays, when you get messages, even adults, sadly, they write wrong spellings. Even though they know the spelling of from, they will just write FRM. I don't know whether it is because we are quick at things, we want to do things fast, but people don't really bother to know their spellings now. It looks like as if it is an art and a skill that is being losing its value in today's society. Okay, so let's emphasize children to learn their spellings correctly. And then the other thing that we will continue from week 1 onwards is maintaining reading log. Now, there are children who are into the habit of reading, and I will not underemphasize the habit of reading. Children who pick up reading at a young age turn out to be more intelligent, have more awareness of what's happening around the world. They have a rich vocabulary, and they just learn faster, and they are able to be more expressive because they have a lot of vocabulary. So reading log, what is a reading log? A reading log is nothing but it is just a page which has a date. It has the name of the book. What is the starting page? What is the end page that the child has read? Okay, so in reading log, the parent will have to monitor this. See, teacher can give the homework. The teacher might say every single day, child needs to spend around 10 minutes reading a book. Now, it is the parent who will monitor, and the parent needs to initial on the reading log. Now, there is a lot of support that we need from parents. The kind of setting that we are in at this point of time with online resources, there is no other way but to get help from parents, because we are not meeting children, physically. And there could be a difference in the way that things, work out online and offline. So parents, kindly help your child in maintaining this reading log. Once you get that template, you will understand what exactly I am talking about. Math skills. In math skills, of all the subjects that are given for homework, math is the subject that is given more number of times as homework. Okay, and you know why? Because math is a subject which needs a lot of practice. I can't read a book on math and see how a problem is done. Everything seems like I get it. But the moment I start solving with paper and pen, that's when I realize whether I really understood the procedure of how to solve a problem. So children need practice time, and the teachers will be giving them homework. Now it is up to the parents to ensure that children are doing their homework. As in my very first parent meeting here, first orientation, I did give an analogy of a bullock cart. You know how a bullock cart has there is this animal, and then we have these two wheels, right? If the bullock cart, the animal, I mean, let's just say whatever it is, the living being there, that is the child. One wheel is the school and the other wheel is the parent. If one wheel is not functioning, the pressure falls on the child. Okay, if the parents don't do their part, then the child has to bear more weight. If the teacher is not doing their part, the child has to bear more weight, which is not good for the child. So we need support. Okay, the school will do what we can and the parents need to do their part. Only then children education will be smooth. Now, science and social studies, yes, I have seen, and even in last year, teachers have spent a lot of time in trying to collect activities which are more relatable for children, making use of things in and around their home environment. Okay, so this year also we will continue to do that. And we are starting something called as the monthly GK quiz. Okay, so every month, children will be given 20 general knowledge questions. Okay, 20 questions. And they have to learn that. And these questions are what is not there in the textbook. We don't want to make it like, okay, you by heart this and you do it. There are a lot of things that children need to be aware of. It could be money, it could be what's happening in and around the world, it could be about current affairs, it could be what is the new technology that's come up. Okay, so these are going to be the kind of questions that we will involve in the GK quiz. And the last Friday of every month, we will be having a quiz. Quiz in the sense, depending on the format, whether it's going to be written or oral questions, we will figure that out. But we will be conducting some kind of assessment on those questions. Okay, coming to assessments. Now for pre-primary, mostly it is observations. It is children's interaction in the classroom, because in pre-primary, all that we are doing is we are preparing. When we say primary, pre-primary is preparing for primary. So we are introducing preparatory skills for children. It could be preparation in terms of social skills. How are they able to come out of their homes, come out of their comfort zone of being around familiar adults? How are they interacting with a child who wants to speak? Are they listening to a child who is speaking? Are they following instructions? Okay, so those are some of the areas where we will be assessing children. And homework for the pre-primary children will be posted on in their WhatsApp groups. As you all know that every class has a WhatsApp group. Teachers do post the homework in the WhatsApp groups for all the grades. And submission of homework for students of grade 3 and upwards will be done on Teams. Okay. Now, pre-primary assessments, apart from what we do throughout the year, their observations and interactions that we're observing, they will have 2 term exams, which is, like a proper exam in terms of, a paper will be given and children will choose the correct answer. There will be a rhymes test, there will be a storytelling test, math and EVS. So end of every term, term 1 and term 2, we will have a formal assessment. Now, assessment for primary, which is grade 1 to grade 5. Now, grade 1 to grade 5 is also divided into 2 terms, term 1 and term 2. Now, if you observe, the difference between assessment of last year to this year is the PBL, which is project-based learning. Okay, so we have removed 1 unit test and we have introduced a project-based learning. And why did we do that? Because it is important for children to understand a lot of skills. Now, written skills, especially in this format where we are doing online teaching and children are submitting their work online, I very strongly believe that what children are submitting, their unit test papers or term exam papers, is not the only criteria or the only way to gauge whether children have understood or have mastered the concepts that were taught. Okay, a lot needs to be done, especially for children up to grade 5. There are a lot of skills that we want them to develop, like critical thinking skills, logical skills, skills of expression, independent thinking. So those are all the skills which will be tested in this project-based learning. A project will be given to children. Children have to find ways and means. Thorough instructions will be given on how they will do it. And every project will conclude by children presenting their project to the class. And based on various criteria, which will again be shared with you all, we will be evaluating children. Okay, so that will go for term 1 and term 2. There's a PBL1 and PBL2. And we will also have one written test, unit test 1 and unit test 2. And we will have one term and exam and one term 2 exam at the end of every term. That's the assessment pattern for grade 1 to grade 5 students. So moving a little beyond academics, you all know that we have PE, right? So this year I'm looking at 4 major beyond academic activities, extracurricular or co-curricular, whatever you want to call it. One definitely is PE, right? Time and again in the past year, we have tried ways and means of engaging children and giving them opportunities to be physically active. We used to have classes in the evening to see if that fits children well. And then we moved it to early morning. Then we have now last year before, when we tried to, when we were closing, then we had it incorporated into their class timing. Every Saturday we would have all those ECA classes. So this year, physical education will be incorporated into their class timetable. So the first one we have is PE, and PE curriculum this time what we have is also amazing. There is a lot of new elements that are added into PE education. There is going to be a variety of physical education activities. As you go, you will be able to observe and watch that. The next one that we have is art and craft. PE is one, and the second one we have is art and craft. And art and craft, if you'll notice, before the class, usually 1 or 2 days before, a list of material is given to parents. See, for art and craft, what do we need? We need maybe some color papers. So having a few A4 size color papers, glue, scissors. I think these are the ones that repeatedly are being asked again and again. So if we can have these supplies and even paints, poster colors, if we can have these supplies ready at home, you don't have to always go and keep looking or buying for stuff. Okay, so please, at the beginning of the year itself, next week sometime, kindly ensure that you get these art supplies for children. Now, one element that we are introducing, one of the new elements that we are introducing this year is life skills. Now, this was there earlier, not in a very structured way, but this time we are making it and we are assigning a period for that. It's called life skills. And when I say life skills, it refers to, skills such as how do I fold a shirt? How do I chop onions? How do I peel an onion? How do I cut beans? How can I organize my closet? If I have clothes, many a times you will observe when you open the closet, clothes are just falling over you. Okay, so how many children are able to take care of their closet? How many children can iron their own shirt? I remember grade 3, grade 4, I was able to iron my clothes. Nowadays, we are not giving those, I should say these are privileges for children. But now we feel, why do the child needs to spend any time on that? Okay, we give everything to laundry, and then we have all our clothes ironed. So skills, those skills are not there in children anymore. What about button? How many boys are able to sew a button if it is broken? Can we do that? Can our children do that? Well, they don't have to depend on anybody. Okay, so tacking, if there is a small stitch, which has come out, how many children are able to put a tacking on that? So those are life skills. We have a lot of wonderful life skills that we have listed down. So there is a period that is assigned for that, and we will be teaching those life skills for children. And the other important element that we are adding, though this is the core of our school, which is skill, the values that we so proudly say that our school follows, which is so true, but we are also assigning a period for moral science, wherein moral stories would be shown to children, or we will take up an incident and we will ask children to contemplate on that and see what was right, what went wrong, how can we fix that situation. So moral science is another very important thing that we will be starting this year. Now, some general information to you all. One is the school reopening date, which we conveyed to you all. Grade 1 to grade 10 will be starting on Monday, 14th June. And pre-primary will start on 15th June. This timing will be the same. We will start the classes at 9 o'clock as usual, but there is a slight change in the school assembly timing. Instead of 8:40, we will start the assembly at 8:30. So 8:30 to 8:45, 15 minutes, we will be done with the assembly. And after that, it still gives children another 15 minutes to get their books and, get to be all set for the classes to begin. Okay, so 8:30, we start the assembly, and the classes will begin as usual at 9 o'clock. Now, something new that's happening this year is, until last year, Saturday was a holiday. I tried my best not to do this, but then the time frame that we have is so short, and we can't miss out on things. So that's the reason we decided to go ahead to have 2 periods every Saturday for children. From 9 to 9:40, they will have the first period. The timing are the same as every day. And then 9:50 to 10:30. So they will have 2 periods, and 10:30, they are done for the day. Okay. Now, what is the platform that we will use? Now, pre-primary to grade 2 will use Zoom. Now, why are we using Zoom, and why are grade 3 to grade 5 using Teams? Some of you might have that question. Sometimes there is confusion. Well, so we did try to use Teams for our students of grade 1 and grade 2. And I believe any platform that we use should be child friendly. It should be something which is effective for children. Okay, and for the little ones, if you all have observed all the answers, for the older children, we can share the Word document in the WhatsApp group and children copy down. But for the little ones, we read the question and we have to model the answer. We have to type the answer on the board and children write that down. Every word that you say, every problem that you do, you are doing it there on the board. So it's important for children to see that. So the detailing and how you use the board and the written tool, those options are little better in Zoom, especially for the little ones. But for the Teams is perfectly fine for students from grade 3 onwards. Okay. Now, very, very important point. In the past, we were it was brought to our notice that some children are sharing their login details with children who are not in our school, or children who discontinued attending our school for some reason. So homes were entertaining children to come sit and they were listening to the class. As much as we would love to support, but the school needs to function, right? So we strongly discourage any child or any parent who's encouraging that practice. Please do not do that, and do not share your child's login detail with any outsiders. Now, there are some other things that I want you all to support children with. Monitor children when they're attending online classes. Many a times a child might be seated in front of a laptop or a phone or whatever the device is. They are seated there, but they might be wandering, in their mind, they're wandering somewhere. They might be just scribbling on a paper. So on and off, whoever is the adult in the house, kindly check on them. Because if it is a physical school, the teacher can walk around, the teacher can call out a student and see whether the child is not just physically present, but also mentally present. Okay, so kindly ensure that you are checking your child regularly and the environment in which the child is. Okay, I cannot tell you all how many times have we seen, unnecessary things or heard unnecessary things when we are doing online classes. It's sometimes embarrassing even to mention that, but I want to tell you all that it's not a good sight. It's not good conversations for teachers or other children to listen to. So the environment in which the child is sitting and attending online class is important. It is definitely important. We can't put a child in a environment where people are just walking up and down and there is 1,001 thing that's happening. Child cannot focus like that. So kindly be more mindful about it, please. And time and again, we ask children to record videos or do some audio assignments. They need help from you, okay, to make sure that the video is taken in a proper way, the lighting is good, the quality of recording is good. So ensure that when you are submitting something, it is of a good quality. Children will not have an eye for all these things. Though we keep telling children how it should be done, but a child will not be able to differentiate. We're talking about children from grade 1 to grade 5. Okay, they won't understand the difference between what happens when you stand under the light or what happens when you stand in front of the light. Okay, so those things, parents need to support them, please. Now, parent communication. See, now Every parent has the contact detail of all the teachers. It's available in the WhatsApp groups. There are phone numbers in this. You have phone numbers of the school as well. Now, there are certain things that you need to call the school for. There are certain things that you need to call the teachers for. Now, any issue that you have with regard to your child's logging in, one morning you see and your child's first period class is not visible. You can't call the teacher at that time. You need to call the office. Yes, if the office hasn't taken you, that's a very urgent need because you need your child to attend the class. Ensure that the message has gone across to a teacher or to the office. But first, I would say attend to call the office. Okay. And any fee related issues also will be the school's call. You will be making a call to the school. Now, any academic related issue, of course, every class has a class teacher. You can reach out to the class teacher, but I would say if you have an issue with any teacher, it's always good to talk openly, but if you're not comfortable, please reach out to the class teacher, share with the class teacher. Now, we have had instances where parents just come in front of the child's screen and they start talking to the teacher in front of the whole class. And they are addressing one particular child's case. Now, how do you expect the teacher to just leave the rest of the 15 children and address one parent? It's not possible. It's not right also to do that. Okay, so please don't interfere a teacher when she's teaching in the class. It's not proper ethics to maintain in a classroom, because we need to respect all the children in the class. If you have anything, you recall her. After every class, there are breaks. If it is very urgent, reach out at that time. Or I'm assigning children a time for parents for reaching out to teachers between 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. Every day, you can call teachers only between 1:30 to 3:30. Let's respect their private space, because online teaching is also very hectic. So I don't like to personally disturb teachers after the school hours unless and until it's very urgent. So parents, be mindful, make use of this time. We are giving you 2 hours slot. So you can make a call to them anytime from 1:30 to 3:30. Now, something that we have noticed last year is we send out a lot of communication. In the parent WhatsApp groups, there are communications that have been sent out, homework instructions that have been sent out. But sadly, when we see the output that is being submitted, looks like either the parents haven't gone through the instructions properly for the little ones, or the older children are not really reading word by word to the instructions. So I understand that, we are sending communication here, too many communications, sometimes you may feel, but what other way do we have to let you know about things? We have no other choice, right? At least you should be happy that, message is coming across. We feel the need to let you know about what's happening or how things need to be done. But if it is not being read, the planning that the teacher does, the time that the teacher spend in figuring out how that message needs to go, there is a lot of time that is involved. So I request parents kindly read through and understand the message carefully, whatever is being shared. Now, another important parent communication that we share, this time we are going to do 3 of these. We will be sharing academic planners. And what are these? For the new parents, academic planner is nothing but it is an overview of what the teachers plan to teach in the next 3 months. So you will receive one by next weekend for the month of June, July, August, which will tell you per subject, what does the teacher plan to do? What are the lessons that the teacher will cover? What are the concepts that we will cover? It will be mentioned subject-wise, including languages. Second, third languages also will be mentioned in that. And then we will get one more in the month of September for 3 months, September, October, November, and we will send the last one out in the month of December. Okay, and it will be there with you. You can always look at it, compare and see what's happening, prepare children in advance. Now, if you'll notice, the month of March and April, we were primarily focusing on prerequisite skills. When a child goes to the next grade, okay, it is important we know where the children are. So we spent enough time on revision and brushing up of concepts that they learned in the previous class. And why do we need to do that? Because we need to ensure that children are ready to, to grab the concepts of the current year. So for that to happen, we have invested a lot of time in them learning the previous concepts. Okay, so we did that in the month of March and April, and though we were not very particular that you have to get your books, so we were giving reminders. But now from day one onwards, children will require their textbooks. If you haven't procured the textbooks, notebooks, stationery that is needed, kindly ensure you buy it. It is available in Navya bookstore, which is in Rampalli Crossroad. This is the phone number. We will share it with you again. We did send out visiting cards and shared their contact details to you all last year when we did the parent-teacher meeting. But if you need one, kindly call the office and they will provide you with the contact details. Okay, some do's and don'ts of online class. It is important that we remind this again, because with usage, we feel like what is there? I mean, like children don't bother if their audio is on or off, or whenever they want to speak. So there are certain things we need to keep in mind. Now, students are expected to log into their classes daily in order to keep up with their syllabus. Now, when I say daily, children don't have a choice, like first period I will attend and the last period I will not attend. They don't have a choice, because every single period is important. They are learning, the subjects that have been assigned by CBSE, every single subject is important, and we can't skip concepts. Okay, every single subject, every topic that we teach, every period is important. Now, at this point, this is out of what I want to talk, but then since it requires for me to say this, many times in the past, I have had to talk to several parents. Teachers have to talk to several parents who choose not to have their children attend online classes. And this issue happens majorly in the lower grades. It could be a child of LKG, it could be a child of UKG or grade 1. Okay, they feel like, what is the use? Why should the child go for an online class? What is the need for the child to attend online class? I don't know how many of you remember, there was an analogy that we used in one of our parent meeting. Srinivas sir, I think, did that. It was about how we construct a house. When you construct a house, there are different phases of constructing a house. You first lay the foundation, okay, you put the pillars, then you raise the walls, and then all the detailing is done. Similarly, education is also like that. If you all remember, the CBSE new pattern of education that we shared in our first orientation, the first year is called as foundational years. Then the first year, when I say is pre-primary group, is called as the foundational years. Then grade 1 to grade 5 is called as the preparatory year. Okay, preparatory. What does it mean? Preparing them to reach out for something more sophisticated, something little more complicated, like more higher order thinking skills. Now, how do we expect a child who's supposed to learn letters? Okay, their ABCs, they learn in LKG to read and to write. At nursery, they learn to identify, they learn to read the letters. But in LKG, they learn to write the letters. In UKG, they learn to read and write words and sentences by the end of the year. Now, a child who does not attend UKG, how can that child come suddenly to grade 2? Like they missed last year, which is grade 1 is gone. Now, this year, they choose not to attend, grade 2 is gone. And already this year, we know there were a few parents who came. Last year we missed, ma'am, but we don't want the child to attend last year's class. We want you to promote them to the next class. How do you think we can allow something like that? It is so unfair for the child. The child has lost so many skills, so many teaching days, and suddenly we push the child who has only been drinking milk, we want to give him solid food. Suddenly, you just switch what you're giving to the child, he'll be totally confused and it'll be a disaster. Okay, so if you are in touch with people who feel like what is the use of online education, I think they're highly mistaken. Kindly educate those people who feel there is no need of sending the primary kids to school. Okay, this is out of what I want to say, but that was important to share. Now, arriving to class with the required books, stationery, whatever the teacher says, it's necessary. Otherwise, children are like getting up from their place, again running to get the material, or they say, I don't have that. So we need to educate children on these. Now, yes, this is another important thing, being groomed properly, being dressed properly. Encourage them to wear the uniform. If they're not wearing it every day, once in a while, it's okay. But then, many of us have bought new uniforms. I'm sure in 1 year, Now this is the second year, the uniform would have become, they have outgrown the uniform, children. So please make use of it, and it is professional. It looks good when children are dressed in the uniform. Now, the device being used for pre-primary Zoom sessions, it is necessary that they have the child's name. Sometimes the child is logged in, the child's name is Karthik, and the child is logged in with the father's name. Okay, so it's not right. Suppose if a new teacher is there in the class or a substitution teacher is there and the teacher unknowingly is calling out the father's name. Okay, so it is important when you make your child to join into the Zoom session, let the child be visible, his name is visible, not somebody else's name. Okay, muting and unmuting, mute the mic as instructed, because as I said, several times have we heard conversations, sometimes yelling, sometimes just screaming, like conversations of neighbors or just what is happening in the house. Cooker whistle is sometimes being audible to us. So we don't need all that extra sound, isn't it? So kindly ensure that child is muted. Talk to your children. Please don't feel like, it's not necessary to have a conversation. I think before the school begins, every parent needs to sit with the child, explain to them all these rules. Children will understand. They need adults to supervise them. They need adults to guide them. Now, the posture before the camera is also important. Several times children are found eating, they have the video on. During the break, after every class, 10 minutes break is there. We don't want to make a show up by making children eat. If they are not eating for 40 minutes, there is no problem at all. They can wait for the class to be over. The 10 minutes break that is given, let them eat it. That's how we develop discipline in children. And every session needs to be followed through. As I said, children can't choose which session they want to attend, what they don't want to attend. That's not a choice for children. Now, all their devices need to be sufficiently charged. Okay, so every night, make sure they keep it for charging. Tell children, remind children, make them to do that. Okay, they will feel responsible. Now, a proper internet connection is necessary this entire year, or hopefully we can start school early. But if things continue like this, we don't know. Future looks very unpredictable. So a proper internet connection, things are changing so fast into online mode. Now we can't really rely on phone internet. So try if possible to get a Wi-Fi so that children's learning is not disturbed. Of course, if it is possible to have a headphone, earphone, but if they don't want to use that, they should at least be in a quiet environment. And the last point, of course, everybody needs to treat each other with courtesy and respect, which also applies to parents, because we don't want parents barging into the classroom and addressing issues there. We understand there are some urgent pressing needs, but do not feel bad if teachers tell you, can you please wait till the end of the class and call me back? Okay, let's respect that. Now, what are some of the don'ts of online classes? Now, as I shared with you already, we will not enter Teams with somebody else's ID, and every child who is logging in through Zoom has to have their own name mentioned there. Okay, and children need to be focused. They shouldn't be like multitasking. They are listening here and then they're doing something else. Just by sitting here and listening, our minds can just wander. We can be distracted with so many things that are happening. Okay, and children's attention span can be very short, and they need reminders. Constantly, children need reminders and checks. So wherever you're like walking in and around the house, when you are passing by, make sure like what is the child doing, and ensure that there are not much of distractions there. We need to create that environment for children. Now, sometimes parents are taking screenshots of teachers' lessons. I think it's not right. You need to take permission from the school if you are doing something like that. Okay, sometimes teachers themselves say, like you can take it, or if it is some material that will be shared with the children, teachers themselves share it in the WhatsApp groups. Okay, but taking it and misusing the material that has been shared with the school is a complete no. Some of the older children are using chat. Sometimes children talk to each other apart from the school hours. Okay, so we need to make sure that children are not logged into any of their sessions in the evening hours and they are on their own and they're talking. If anything like that is being noticed, kindly please let the school know about it, please. And the chat window, unless and until the teacher tells they have to use, otherwise children chatting, and let children know that whenever they send a chat message, it alerts one of the teachers, definitely, because children feel like maybe nobody knows it, I'm just sending personally to so and so, but it alerts us, and we are able to view every single message that is being shared. Yes, inappropriate language or offensive language, we haven't come across many of those, but we should be mindful of it. And as I shared with you all, the background of online teaching needs to be something which is calm and not very noisy or too crowded for children. So these are some of the things that I had to share with you all. And as you all know, and as I shared with you all before, things are not like how it was before. All over the world, things are changing. Every area, every field is being affected, as you all will testify to it. Now, in our first parent-teacher meeting, we did mention about the development project that the school is undertaking. We had shared with you all the infrastructural changes that we are making to the school. I don't know how many of you had a chance to go to the school and visibly see the changes that are happening. There is a lot of changes that are positively happening for the school. The school gate or the buildings that are being repainted. There is construction work that is happening. So there is a lot of work that is happening in the school campus. Well, I want to be like very direct in this matter with regard to the fees of children. So I think it's not a very good thing, like parents don't proactively pay the fees. Now, there are a few parents who willingly come forward and they share and they pay the fees, but there are some who don't acknowledge those messages. They don't feel the need or the responsibility to call the school and talk to them and maybe like take little extra time or say what is the matter. Like they read, they feel like that message is not for me. So those are things which are not very professional for anybody, because the school, I want to be so honest with you all, the school has its needs. The school has its needs. The teachers that we have here need to be paid salaries. The infrastructural development that is happening in school needs a huge investment, and a lot is being invested in the school. If we have to move forward, in the right direction and make things count and make it big, then without finances, it's highly impossible. And I don't think we are asking anything for beyond what is right for parents to pay, and which is the responsibility of parents. So please do not mind me saying this, but I would encourage all parents, if you do not have a financial difficulty, kindly please go ahead and clear the fees for the entire year, because that will be of a great help to the school to meet the expenses that we have. But I sincerely want to thank all those parents who don't wait for any reminders, but proactively you go ahead and you cleared the child's fees. So I want to thank you all, and I encourage the other parents to do so. Now this is all that I have to share with you all. And I want to thank you all for coming. We have about 64 participants here, which I feel is a very good number for parents to join. Kindly be supportive of the school, and we will do our best for children. Though the times are like this, be safe. Let children know the importance of hygiene. Let children know the importance of washing their hands, sanitizing, not just going and touching anything and anybody. So please make those restrictions. And as I said, there is no shortcut to parenting. Parenting is very, very challenging in this 21st generation. So we can't just say, okay, take all this and go do what you want. It does not work. Still, children need time. We need to spend time with children. We need to explain things to children. So which is time consuming, which can be tedious. Out of a busy day, you are working in the kitchen, or a working parent is got so many assignments that they need to submit. In the midst of all that, we still have to take time for our children. Okay, so if you want to make a difference in the lives of our children, I would say there is nothing more than education. There is nothing above and beyond education. That's all that we can give children. Okay. And in these days, I think what I would add to that is good health. Good habits, good food habits, and good health is another thing that we can encourage children to develop. Okay. So that is it from my end, from the end of the school. I would like to go ahead and thank you all for taking time. Thank you for joining in. And feel free to reach out to the school if you have any questions. Teachers are available the next week. If you have any particular question that you want to ask, feel free to reach out to us. And I would like to thank you all, and you all have a wonderful rest of the evening. Thank you all so much.